Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4 of the Case Closed Podcast. We have had a long break in between. I had gotten the C word because YouTube does not actually like us to say the virus's name. But I had that twice. I had it once in November and again in March, and it was just really hard to do this while also moving across the country, so I just did not have time to record another episode. But today I am also here with a friend of mine. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. This is Mezcal checking in for the first time. I am so glad to be here with Apara for the podcast. And we are going to be covering a very interesting section tonight. I'll leave it up to Apara for the rest. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Like I said, when trying to begin this with the rebranding, like Yukiko, we will have the ultimate casting. So I already have someone lined up for episode 5, and so I'm really excited to have a partner here with me for episode 4. So right now, to avoid spoilers for him, we are only covering up to like the beginning of what I call the modern arc, and that's where they do the Glass Court Queen with the Holmes revelation. So we're not going to try to go anything beyond that unless if it's something that's not really spoilery and it's okay to talk about. So we're going to try to keep it in that range here. So I don't know quite what I want to talk about yet. This isn't quite about the dub like we usually do, but hey, you can only talk about 3 movies for so long. So we're just going to talk about just Conan in general this time. So right now, I guess we could talk about what your thoughts were on what you've watched so far. See what so people can get to know how you feel about like the series and like where you're at.
Yeah, this week, this episode, we're going to be covering the Holmes revelation, and this, what can I say about it? I don't really know. We're just going to get a lot of my favorite, one of my favorites, which is Agasa, but there's another little one introduced in this arc that is just, some of them aren't that great, the kids in the series, but this is definitely one of the better ones. I don't know. How did you feel about this episode?
Okay, so with this episode, now what everyone has to keep in mind is when I first watched this show, I watched the first 5 seasons in English, or the first 5.5 seasons, because they technically didn't finish season 5, but they sold it as a box set anyway. And so after I finished that, I stopped watching for a little bit, and then when I picked back up the rest of season 5 in Japanese, I watched it from that episode all the way to like 740 something. So I watched that all in a binge. So like anything before that is like a little bit different to me because I didn't experience it normally. I just kind of binged the shit out of it. So to me, it's not that apparent in my memory. I did rewatch it recently. Who am I kidding? I rewatched it a few times in my last few years, but what I remember the most about this one is just mainly like the Shinichi and the Ran thing just throughout the entirety of this is the start of them trying to admit their feelings for each other, and that's really what I took away from this because it's really a big game of cat and mouse. Ran goes to London talking about, oh hey look, I'm finally in a place where Shinichi wants to be, and she feels like it shows like a part of her character that we haven't seen before where she's actually bragging about it. And she's just like, oh, look, I'm here, and Shinichi's not. He'd be so jealous. But still in the back of her mind, she's like, but I got to get him something. And then, when Conan rats himself out for practically being there as Shinichi, and it turns into a huge chase, and then down to the point where he confesses her love, she confesses her love to him, but he doesn't fully confess it back. I mean, he does in a way, but it's not like him saying like, I love you too. It's just kind of like him telling him like, I can't read your heart, but I mean, let's be real.
Right. It's a
And
very down to
yeah,
it's a very down to earth series, but this arc specifically definitely brings the relationship to life more. Definitely, you know.
like I know that you're not where we're at now, so you don't know what really came after this. Like, what is the final resolution of them saying this? And I'll tell you, you're gonna be waiting a while. The one thing I know about Conan from watching is they don't tell you shit. There's this one arc that will come up eventually. I'm not gonna tell you which arc because I want it to all be a surprise. But everyone who's caught up will know what I'm talking about. And around the 500s, something happens, and they don't bring up the resolution to it until like almost like 240, if not more, episodes later. And I'm like, bro. That's the one thing about this show is like you can hit something really cool, but don't expect to hear from it again for a while. That's just how the show goes, unfortunately. But a lot of good stuff sparks from here, and this is why I call this the modern timeline, or the modern start, or the modern arc, or whatever the hell I called it 10 minutes ago. And that is this episode arc practically writes the foundation from here to where we are now. More characters start to come in, but everything revolves back to this very moment. So right when he's right as soon as Conan hits that thing and he goes, "I'm Holmes' apprentice," from that moment to where we are now, it's like all connected with the story. Which is very new for Conan because, yes, Conan did enter having like a more serious story around 130, 128, and then onwards. But really, we didn't get a story until like the 400s, maybe 345 if you want to count that one arc episode with Vermouth and then Conan learning the boss's email address. If you want to count that small little thing, the story really didn't start until Rina Mizunaishi came into the picture. Like, so that's kind of where I'm at with this arc, is just like, to me, while yes, it is good, and there's only so much to talk about with it, it's also very important because it draws the foundation for everything that comes after. And a lot of people don't notice that. But this is only in the manga yet, which I don't read. I watch the anime, but I do sometimes spoil myself, or people spoil me. And that's how I know that this episode just draws the foundation for everything. Because they bring it back up later, and a lot of the characters introduced in between this and when they announce that are like heavily included in this to there. Like, I don't know if you've met a character called Sierra Masumi yet. Have you met her yet? I think so.
The name's familiar. I actually.
Everyone like accuses her of looking like a boy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And she's in the same class as Ran and Sonoko.
Right.
I'm not sure. I don't remember what episode she pops her head in that, but I know she becomes more of a bigger character around 754, which are the numbers Crunchyrolls when they started streaming the show. But I know that she was introduced before that. I just don't know. I don't remember how heavily. You might get more closer to her because I believe she appears more in like the 600s, like let's see, I'm trying to think. 619, isn't that the Yusaku caves? And I gotta Google because I don't remember nothing.
It's saying 646 is when she's introduced.
Okay, so then you're not there yet. Okay. But when you get to see her, she is an important character that starts this modern arc. So I guess you got that to look forward to. At least you started the Who's Bourbon arc, which I believe that's like where. No, you couldn't have. They brought up Bourbon, but they didn't bring up the arc yet. Okay, no, that's further on because I'm just like, no, because you couldn't have met him yet. So there's three people who are, because you couldn't have met who Bourbon was if you don't know who Sierra Masumi is. Not saying she's Bourbon, because there are three suspects who could be Bourbon. There's this guy in a coffee shop, Sierra Masumi, and then this guy with red hair, which you know, Okiya Subaru. He's that guy that appeared in episode 510 or 511.
Oh yeah, he's staying
the
next door to Agasa.
Yeah. Love him.
Jimmy's house.
He's one of my favorite characters of all time. It's him, this guy called Toru Amuro, who works in a coffee shop, and then you have Sierra Masumi. They are the three Bourbon suspects, and so the arc that you're going to be entering is them trying to figure out who is Bourbon, and I'm not going to tell you. Because right now, I'm re-experiencing this feeling again, because now we have the who is Rum arc. I mean, I practically already know who it is, because I know how Conan works. But I mean, when it's not confirmed, it's still fun. Right now, we have 4 Rum suspects on who Rum is, and Rum is supposedly whoever is second in command. So I have a few theories on why I think I'm right. Like I said, I don't read the manga. It's already been announced in the manga, apparently, but I stated I knew who it was, like, forever ago. Same thing with the boss. Like, on my old YouTube channel, I talked about who the boss was before that was fully announced. I talked about how I think Vermouth is related to the boss in some way. Like, once again, they're theories, so they're not necessarily true, but I feel really confident in them. So, let's see. What was your favorite episode that you think that comes to your mind that you have watched so far?
Oh, favorite episode that comes so far?
That like so far where you're at, like from 1 to 600 and whatever. Like in your memory, like what episode stands out as your favorite?
The biggest one is probably the bus. Is it the bus hijacking?
Okay.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know or skip around or are new to the series, that episode is it's so sad because people could say one keyword. It used to be back in the day, you could tell me the episode number and I could tell you what case it was. It was that sad. But so that episode is when Hybra tries to cut herself off because she thinks that she is just a huge threat to to Conan and the kids. And look, everyone knows Sherry is waifu, so it hurts to see her be like, everyone's gonna be better off without me. And to be honest, this ain't gonna end without her, because she is the only one who can make the antidote here. And yeah, if you think Conan's taking down the Black Organization, everyone better have another think. I mean, look, I got a theory. We could talk about this for a second. I'm gonna leave some parts of it out because you haven't got that far, so I'm gonna I might talk more about this theory on the next episode. But a theory that I have is this is gonna be a more lighter one because I don't want to get into deep stuff. So one of the things, and I always bring this up to everybody I talk to who likes Conan, because I feel like I'm messed up in the head and twisted, but at the same time I feel like it drives the narrative home. So I want Dr. Agasa to die at the end of the series. Now hear me out before everyone starts booing or saying, what the hell's wrong with you?
You will not get rid of the yellow beetle, I swear.
I know. And the reason and how I want this to happen and why I want this to happen is because I feel like it is the perfect, like, embedded stamp into, like, making the ending perfect. And I know that's really harsh to say or hard to say, but it's fact to me. And how I want this to happen is Jin and Vodka get wind, or any of the organization, and they send Jin and Vodka, whatever, because it has to be the original duo. It can't be anybody else who does this. And Jin is the only one who really cares about Sherry being dead. I mean, you got Vermouth, but I'm not talking about her. So Jin and Vodka, they catch wind of Sherry being alive, whether that's from rum, whatever, and they bomb Dr. Argasa's house. But just out of coincidence, Conan and Sherry are out doing something else. They're not at the house. So only Dr. Argasa dies because he's the only one there. And Conan takes this personally. Okay, if you remember back when Hybera was introduced, that when Miyano Ikumi, I'm mixing names from Death Note here. Miyano Ikumi, which is Sherry's sister, when she's dead, Conan's like, "This is personal, and I'm gonna take I'm gonna take you down with my own hands." If he took some random ass lady at a bank that he just had some fun talking to personally, you just took down his best friend. Like, if you don't know, or you haven't caught the context clues that were brought up early on, the Dr. Agasa is like Shinichi's best friend. I mean, I guess you could say that's now Hechi Hattori or Harley Hartwell, whatever the hell you want to call him. But like deep down, Dr. Agasa is Shinichi's best friend. So if you kill off Shinichi's best friend, things are going to get personal. And I feel like that's like the final, because like what I picture is Ran and Conan, they're isolated. Conan lets, in the final showdown, like shit's hitting the fan. And, he tells her whatever, A to Z. Death is like practically just sitting around them. And Dr. Agasa's dead because, so I don't know. I feel like that would drive the final nail in like making like the story like suspenseful and personal. But I just don't. The reason why I can't see it happening is because Gosho already told us. But he also lies to us a lot. He told us he was going to retire at Dr. Agasa's age, and he did not. So, I don't know. But he did promise us, like, there is somewhat a happy ending. Now, happy ending doesn't mean that there can't be sorrowful things that happen to gain a happy ending. But I don't know. How do you feel about that? Like, do you think I messed up, or do you think that's going too far?
No, I I actually kind of agree with that.
Okay. That's the first time, I'll tell you that.
Because when you put it like that, it's like the death of Agasa would definitely, like you're saying, hang over Shinichi's head. And that, like, him knowing that, like, he's the reason Agasa died, but I'm sure, the organization would find some way to cover it up,
Like, for example, I'm going to bring up 2 episodes to show you, like, how this could really affect the story if this happens. Naturally, I wouldn't count them doing it until, like, they're either at the last arc of the show or there's only a few episodes left, because I can't see them doing, like, a whole season without Agasa, like, with him being dead. They're not going to drag it out. It's going to be like, no, he's dead, and we're wrapping up the story within, like, the next few episodes. Because he's too big of a character to do that with. But the episodes I want to bring up are to show you, like, how seriously toned he could take this. If you remember, once again, bringing back the Hybera's introduction episode, when Agasa said, she created the poison. She used to be a member of the Black Organization. And Conan went off on her. Like, she's on our side now, but he's just, like, lashing out on her, yelling at her. And I could see that's the tone he'd be using going forward after Agasa dies. Just losing his shit for no goddamn reason. Like, calm down, she's on our side. Like, why are you flipping out at her, yelling at her? Like, do you know how many people that you killed, how many people that you affected? It's like, well, she didn't have a choice. Like, if she didn't do those things, she would have died. But I just like I feel like that like the tension that would bring to the character of Conan, like I feel like he'd be like it would make him rush to the top. Like he would have zero to any like thinking, like he's not thinking about his actions. It's literally just like, you know, I'm gonna go to the top, I'm taking him down now. You know, this was the last straw. And I feel like that's gonna bring him to like closing out this case.
Yeah, there's no point for him being Conan anymore.
No. I could just see him walking in. Hey, this is Shinichi, bitch. like no. I don't know. Another thing that I had with how this will end. Like I said, I'm gonna try to cover this one up as much as I can because I don't want any spoilers. Vermouth. Everyone knows I hate her with a living passion. She tries to kill my waifu, and that's not okay. But I think I'm not going to go into any relations or anything here. But I think Vermouth is going to die by the end of the series. I don't necessarily want her to die, but I think what's going to happen is she's going to take a bullet for Conan. I'm not going to say when or where or whatever, but I think that's what's going to happen. I think she's going to take a bullet for him, and that's what I think. I don't know if that's going too far, but I think that would wrap up beautifully the relationship Shinichi and Vermouth have. Like, she wants to kill Sherry, but she knows that if announcing Sherry's a kid, it puts Conan in danger, so she won't do that. But she's still dead set on trying to kill Sherry, and I feel like if Conan goes to the top, like this also connects with my original theory with Agasa dying. Like, if Conan goes to the top with no thinking, no nothing, just headstrong, and they're all in a room together, I could see Jin just losing his shit and just being like, okay, I don't got time for this. And then Vermouth just taking the bullet. And then naturally, I think someone's going to kill Jin for killing Vermouth because Vermouth's too special. But that's my thought on that. I don't know if you think that could be a possibility, or if you think that they're just gonna leave Vermouth live. This also might just be because I just hate Vermouth so much, but I also think like it beautifully wraps up their relationship.
Yeah, because she's I mean, not only is she heavily plot involved, but she's super tied with like the family, right? The
Yeah,
family.
yeah. So, she is friends with Yukiko, because she took over her mother's life. Like her mother died, but was never like publicized. And since Yukiko and Sharon were good friends with Kaido Kid's dad, they learned the Master of Disguise, and Vermouth used that to become her mother. And so the whole time that Yukiko was working with Sharon, it was really Vermouth. And so she became real personal friends with the Vermouth. So that's number one of why she protects him, because it's just like, wow, okay, well, I'm actually friends with this lady. That's her child. And two, because Conan and Shinichi and Ran saved her life when she was trying to kill him. So that when Shinichi said, and I even used this because I feel like it is so impactful. I wrote a paper in criminal justice about the death penalty, and I used this as a quote in my paper even. You know, like you know, I don't know why you would kill someone, but a logical reason for saving someone, you know, a logical mind isn't needed. And I feel that quote brought up so many times in the series that it would be a beautiful ending of her saving his life because a logical mind isn't needed. And I don't know if it would be more beautiful if she just doesn't say anything and takes the bullet, or if she takes the bullet and then, you know, looking at Conan saying in her last words, a logical mind isn't needed, right? Like, I would actually for a half a millisecond care about vermouth, which is a lot coming from me. I probably actually would cry too. I'm not even gonna lie.
Right. Do you think that what is it? Oh, excuse me. Do you think Conan's gonna find it? You know, say this does go down. Do you think Conan's gonna become aware of the fact that vermouth went down for him? Right? Is it gonna be very obvious, or is it?
Yes, like I feel like she will jump the bullet. Like,
right. Okay.
like in like the movies, like where they just like dive in front and take it. Like that's what I think is gonna happen. Because no one in the organization has the balls to kill vermouth. Like, you kill vermouth, you're fucking dead. I'm sorry. Your fate has been signed and sealed. She is the boss's favorite. So there is no way in hell that would happen. Just like being like, oh, you're covering for them, bam, killed. No, it would be like she's just gonna jump and take the bullet. And that's why she could be in that same space to say a logical mind isn't needed, right? Because I don't think Shinichi and Ran, and maybe they do, maybe I just forgot somewhere. I don't think they know that silvered-haired murderer was vermouth. I don't think Shinichi knows that. He might, I don't know, but it is weird that he knows that vermouth won't kill him. Like like I said, my mind is fuzzy. I've been out for a while, but I don't think he knows that specific incident was vermouth. I think he knows vermouth was naturally vermouth in that episode where he got the boss's email address. And I think it's also because he knows that Yukiko and Sharon were friends, so maybe that's why he thinks that she won't kill him. I don't know. That's actually a really good question. I'm sounding less like a Conan fan right now, not knowing. But I don't think they know that silver hair murderer was vermouth. Right. And I feel like that would be like the big boom moment. Like if you remember, in the 500s in the Clash of Red and Black arc when they were talking about Akai Shuichi and his girlfriend, and then when Conan realized that they were talking about Sherry's sister, I feel like he would have one of those moments, like when vermouth says a logical mind isn't needed, right? And then that's when he's gonna like picture like, oh my god, that was her. I don't know. That's just my take. I
would definitely, help build towards all the walls falling around Conan.
Yeah, because I feel like what's going to happen is all the walls, like, will fall around him. It will be, I feel, at the end, it will be just him and the boss standing. I don't think there's going to be, like, I'm not saying everyone's dying, okay? Like, I just mean, like, in the final confrontation, it's just him and the boss. And it's just, like, I feel like they're going to have a real talk, like, you made it all the way here type thing. I don't think anyone's going to be in the room with him. I don't think anyone's going to climb those stairs. I think it's just going to be all him. Now, I like to be wrong because I like to think that there could be some interesting things that could happen, Like, what if Rand was in that room, too? Or, some more life and death stakes. Because, let's be real, Conan ain't dying. That would be such a... Anyone else can die as long as they're not Rand or Conan. If one of them somehow die, the series is ultimately forever screwed. In the bad ending department. Now, anyone else can die. Kogoro can die. It could happen. I don't think so. But I'm just saying, like, I don't put anyone off a table of death. Or at least a scare death, like where it seems like they're dead. But then, you get a call from the hospital at the end saying, they pulled through. Like... But that's my stance on an ending. Do you have any ideas of how you think, just from where you're at? Because I try to temper my expectations with that theory of giving you is of where you're at, not of anything that has come after.
Yeah, I really don't have any idea for an ending, you know? Uh, but everything you're saying definitely makes sense and definitely, helps me picture, what a final
Uh,
situation would be like, how it would be
like
built towards.
like Hybera, going back to her, she is an essential character. She is going to be a big part of this ending. Whether she dies, regrows up as Hybera, I definitely think that is a heavy thing. I think she is gonna restart her life. I don't think she's gonna go back to being Shiho Miyano. And if she does, I'm telling you, it's for a short time. It's to finish this battle as an adult. Um,
Wait, you're telling me you don't ship Haibara and Mitch?
oh, I do and I don't. Um, I hate him. I hate him so much, but I think it's just because he has a thing for my waifu, and that's not okay. I have a
Oh,
problem with people like that. But uh, I, I can see it, and apparently so can Mitch or Mitsuhiko, whatever you want to call him. Uh,
sorry.
he totally look. Someone's got to take care of the waifu, and it can't be me, right? So hey, uh, like I said, I think she's gonna regrow up. I really do. I think she's gonna take this moment, and that's why Dr. Agasa might live, because she needs someone to live with. But it doesn't mean she can't live with Jody or somebody else, other characters I can't bring into the fray yet. She could even grow up as Sherry and finally get that crush that she has. I don't know if you've seen her crush yet, but he's a soccer player, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe his name is like Hugo or something
Yeah,
like that.
right.
I that and just recently, she's been noticed by him. But like once again, he sees her as a kid, so it's not really all that special. But to her, she got a head pat. It was all the thing in the world to her. So I could, if she stays as Sherry, she's gonna get him. That's all I know. But if that's not in the cards, I see the only other possibility is she's just gonna regrow up as Hybera, and get her fresh start. Because do you know how many times in the series that she says, you know how nice it would be if you could just let go of who you used to be and just create a brand new life. Like, bro, you have that opportunity right now. Um,
Right.
I think she's gonna take that. Personally, if she doesn't die, she could die. I mean, just straight up, and that would kill me. But the only reason why I believe she's like safe, and she might not be, uh, is because Gosho Oyama already confirmed that Hybera is his favorite character. So like Conan can go somewhere, like, um, which is funny because they both have almost the same face.
Oh.
Like if you get rid of their hair, they actually have the same face. Um, so
Side
you
effect
know,
of the toxin.
yeah, right though. But I don't know. I didn't expect us to get into talking about ending or anything, but hey, this is where we arrived. Um, I mean, I think it's also because I'm such afraid of like talking about the series because there's so much good stuff coming up,
Right.
and we just got into like the modern arc of the story. So maybe this could be like a precursor story of like introducing you and everything, and then just talking Conan because soon, this modern arc's gonna take off. Like there are so many more new characters coming in, um, and it's really weird because Conan transforms at this point. At this point, not only do we have a more coherent story that follows like a whole timeline. Like you could be, let's say, in episode 800 and be like, oh my god, I remember this from like the 600s when this happened. Oh my god, that's so cool that this connected with this. And it's finally when Gosha like decided, okay, hey, we're gonna actually make a coherent story. Not saying it wasn't coherent before, but I mean, every single time when you show Shinichi being knocked out, fed the poison, and it's a wooden baseball bat, it's a huge stick, it's a metal police baton, it's a pipe. I mean, like, make up your mind. Like, nothing is, like, coherent. It's never, uh, it's never the same. And sometimes, like when they do a flashback, he's wearing a different outfit than what he was wearing before. Like when they recently brought up the London arc, and you know how Shinichi was wearing that pink and white like checkered shirt with that white vest. It's now a green and checkered shirt. So I don't like. I don't know why, but it bothers me. So there, I like that there's more of a level of a consistency, but sometimes without fail, they can still like lose consistency. Like in episode 1, if you remember in the intro how the guy got shot. But in the episode 1 remake, he was stabbed. I'm like, bro, pick a lane. I think it was because he was originally stabbed in the manga, and so they wanted to follow closer to the manga. But the manga is in black and white, so you can't tell me that his shirt in the manga was green, because I just but I'm looking more forward to seeing what you're coming up with. And what's nice being able to talk this way about future stuff that's coming up is I'm currently rewatching the episodes with a friend of mine who actually got me into the series, who didn't really watch it himself, but he got me into it, and it was funny. I talked about this before in my podcast, so I'm not going to really get into it all that deeply, but he was putting animes on my computer way back in the day because I moved and I didn't have internet, and I could say yes and no to him putting on a series, like if I didn't seem interested in it. It was my first step into anime too, and when he came across Case Closed, I said no, because I didn't like criminal stuff. Like it was not, and now I got a degree in criminal justice, so how about that? But I said no, and he said no, but you're really gonna like this, and I said no, I don't want it. And he goes, well, I'm gonna put it on there anyway. It was the only one he would not listen to me for, and I'm glad that he did not listen to me. And he goes, I only remember watching a few episodes late at night, and I remember it being really good. And the only thing I could say to myself, and now it's an iconic thing that if it wasn't that way, I'd be upset. And I was looking at all the thumbnails from all the videos, and I said, what the hell is wrong with this kid and his big-ass ears? Like, because the classic style was they just had huge ears. That was the thing. And
two ball ears.
And I watched the first episode out of curiosity. I said, you know what? I'm going to take a break from this other anime I was watching. I'm just like, I'll just watch one episode and then I'm deleting it. And he shrunk at the end of the episode. And in the thumbnails, it showed Shinichi, Conan, Shinichi. Or really, it was Jimmy, because I was watching in English. And I was like, does he go back and forth multiple times? Or it was just the thumbnail being weird. It was not. And I got invested in him trying to get his body back. And then I fell in love with the cast. And then from the cast... Like, I feel if I watched it in Japanese, I would not have gotten into it. Because the show was written really well in Western, in like a Western theme. And what a lot of people don't know, and I didn't even know until recently, that people were hating on the name change. And I'll say this again in this episode. I know I brought it up before, but this needs to be known because everyone said that they didn't like it because they changed the names. And I get it. That sometimes doesn't go well with anime people. But Gosho Oyama himself created these names. And he translated them so perfectly. Jimmy and Shinichi both mean one truth. If Ran were to come to America, her name would perfectly translate to Rachel Moore. Same thing with Richard wouldn't be from Kogoro. They did something interesting with his name. They took another word for Richard is Dick. Another name for detective is Dick. Another name for Richard is Dick. So they took, Dick into Richard. And Maori already changes to Moore. So Richard Moore. These weren't just like thrown together names. They actually were translated names like the, Japanese to English for the lines spoken. It was just a perfect translation, and I get it that there were some translation errors in the show, like Harley telling Conan Jin and Vodka were black organization members. That didn't happen in the original show, or in it was a mistranslation. So in my headcanon, Harley told Conan who Jin and Vodka were, because if you remember when Harley met Shinichi, he said, "Hey, you should look out for Jin and Vodka. They're killers." But really, the real translation was, "Drinking gin and vodka could kill you." And it's just like, okay. So, and then one time Jin called Sherry Shelly. It's like, okay, fine. A few mistakes there and there. But in my opinion, I like the Funimation dub a lot. And anyone who disagrees can sue me. But Bing Zoom's doing a wonderful job. I don't know. Have you seen any of the new dubbed stuff or no?
Yeah, I watched the episode 1 movie. That's probably the newest thing that I've watched.
That's the one I was just bashing for them using a gun. I meant for using a knife when they originally used a gun. But I think that's because they were trying to follow the manga that time, so it's fair. But I really enjoyed that, and my number one memory from watching that, because I ordered it on the Blu-ray, because that's the most important one to support. Because I'm trying to get the whole the whole canon show, just like the manga only episodes. I'm hoping that's what we get. I do know movie 18 and 24 are coming next, but and if you don't want any spoilers, don't watch those movies. Don't even watch trailers. Stay away. Because usually the movies don't spoil things, but those 2 movies will. So if you care, do not watch those. Just a fair warning. But the one thing I remember about watching that was because I got my hands on Zero the Enforcer, which was movie 22. I got my hands on that when it was still behind closed doors. Like, I got really early access to that, because I believe we didn't get that till the following September, the following year, when it came out on Blu-ray, and I had it. Think back, way back. It was right around the time when they actually released it, and I got my hands on it, and I made my own movie intro with just the voices, and then I used the movie 5 theme. And so that way Bang Zoom or TMS couldn't come after me, because technically they didn't produce anything like that yet, because they didn't dub Countdown to Heaven. So that was my way of getting around that, because I wanted everyone to hear these new voices. I'm just like, if you weren't in that locked room, you didn't get to hear these voices, and I wanted to bring those voices to light. So technically I was one of the first people to ever show off the new English voice cast. And I think that's why at that time when that came out, it felt a lot cooler to me, because I was already more familiar with these voices, while this was everybody's first introduction. And I remember when I was watching it, it felt twice as longer as it was, because I was so enjoying myself. And I remember the one relief that I finally have that said, you want to know what? This was perfect. I don't like Dr. Agasa's new voice. It's growing on me, but not in a growing. It's I can deal with this. Because he is getting better. But I don't know where his Italian accent went, and it's bothering me. But the one relief I had when I heard Sherry speak, and I'm talking about her adult form, I was like, she's safe. That was I was just, if she had a cringe anime voice, I was going to die. And I just remember that being okay, you know what, this dub is perfect. It'd be better with the old cast, but you can't have it all. So, for international dub, because that's what it is. This is so for Singapore, some Arabic countries. I know America, and I'm sure there's some other places. That is what this dub is for. And originally, back in the day, there were multiple English dubs. Singapore had one, we had one. Now they're just hey, everyone gets the same one. So that's just how I feel about the new dub. Like,
Oh yeah, I love it. I agree with the Dr. Agasa thing. I cannot believe that they did that. I don't know.
but like all the kids are like they like tell me I'm wrong. Genta or George took a while, but he's catching up. But you can't tell me that these kids don't sound like their original counterparts.
Oh yeah, it's get like you're saying, Genta specifically, and he's got such a specific voice. So maybe it's easy, but it's amazing
But like,
that they're actually bringing it. You know,
like I like it's really weird. Like I hear the ringing of their Japanese voices, like, but I also hear like the Funimation voice of them, and it's so weird. The only person, because to me that sounds 100% identical to their Funimation voice. Like if you told me, you know, this actor got a little bit older between the two casting sessions, but it's still her, I would believe you. And that's Ava Kaden, or Eri Cascade, whatever you want to call her. That's Rand's mother. She appeared in movie 22 with the speaking role. And she also, I believe she was in that episode 1 remake. I could be wrong. But she sounds just like the Funimation counterpart. And to me, she was my favorite voice performance out of the entire cast so far. But I don't know if there's anything else that you can think of that you want to bring up about anything before we can wrap this up here.
no, this is good. I actually need, I need to catch up a lot more on the series now. Oh man.
Yeah. Like when I tell you, you're not only in for a treat, you're in for suspense. Like if you cut out the TV original episodes, like if you just start purposely skipping those, which I'm not saying that you should because there are some pretty good ones. You would be in for like a non-stop climax story. Like this is where it takes off. You finally hit the point. Like congratulations, you hit the point where this story now becomes something. And right now, I know a few of the things that are coming up for me, just because, like I said, the manga leaks out information all over the internet, and people know. And that's why I hope near the ending of the series, there's usually about a 4 to 6 month gap between a manga release and then when it comes to an anime episode. So I kind of hope near the end, when they know it's the end, they cut down on TV originals and they just stay in pace with the manga. Like the manga comes out, they have an episode lined, the 4 episodes lined up as soon as the manga releases. So you don't have to dodge the internet for a whole year. It's like, but you're in for it, because I know some big things that are happening. Like we're gonna get it's gonna be a smaller version. It's not gonna be as big, but we're gonna get a smaller version of what happened again in the Clash of Red and Black. Like I know that's already coming. We have another thing that just recently happened that I can't tell you about. That's gonna happen again, and these are some real hype moments. These are like Black organization showdown moments. Like we're about to hit some real stuff. So like the stuff that you're about to hit is huge. You're about to meet a whole lot of characters that you will either love or hate to death, but you love them anyway. Like the way that I learned in Conan, you can never hate a character. Like okay, you can hate Vermouth, but that's a whole different story. But you can't actually hate a character. Like there could be a character that like you could appear on screen, you could be, I don't like them at all, but you're excited to see them because you know it means something awesome. And that's the one thing I love about these characters. Like you don't have to like them, but them being there makes the story cool. Like Bourbon, like I have a love-hate relationship with him. Things that he's doing in the series, I don't like him for doing them, but he's also like one of my favorite characters. because whenever he's around, something really cool happens. So, but with that, I think we can wrap this up, and I appreciate you joining me today, and hopefully next time we could have a more, what do I want to say, like a more organized chat, like have some bullet points, we know where we're all at, you finally gain more of the story, so there's more open to talk about. Maybe we can have like a more of a monthly discussion on the arcs that you've come to.
Right. That would be great.
As more story opens. So this is more of a informal chat because we've been all over the place. We talked about endings, the last episode that we watched and stuff like that. So I had a good time. I'm glad that we finally got around to doing this. Episode 5 should hopefully come out Sunday or like early Sunday morning, because the person I'm next talking to, I'm not going to reveal them yet because we got to keep secrets here, keep suspense, but they are a few hours different from me, more than what you are, so like I would be like recording like as soon as I get home from work at like almost midnight, and then to them it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. So so it'll be Sunday for them, because Sunday the best that works for them. I don't have a day that ever works for me. Today only worked for me because I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and I was just like, hey, I can knock this out because I don't have to go to work for once in my life. So I took advantage of this. We had a lot of technical difficulties, but we got there. So
well,
I will catch you. Hopefully, so if I could do that episode on Sunday, hopefully we could maybe catch up before the end of the month here. I don't know how much you could watch by then, or if you would rather aim for July. What do you think about that?
The end of the month works for me.
All right. Well, then we can plan for some time at the end of the month. And we'll do like a catch up. I like that. Because like I said, I'm currently rewatching the series too, so I feel like we'll have a lot more to go off of. Right now, I'm on episode. We just watched episode 510 or 511 last night. That's when they introduced Okiya Subaru. So that's where we're at, and I like watching my friend try to dissect these moments. So I think it's kind of fun to like dissect them with him, even though I already know what the hell's going on. But it's sometimes I relearn something, and then coming back here to talk with you would be really cool. So I will. We made this perfectly under an hour, so it means I don't have to split it into two. Just perfect. So I will catch you at the end of the month. We'll talk naturally in chat, like we do. But as for this form of setting, will be the end of the month, and I will see you all hopefully Sunday morning for everybody, because I'll have to post it and everything. So Sunday morning, hopefully you guys will come up to a new episode after this. Trying to keep it onto a schedule, or at least informing you guys when we're going to be doing another episode. I know I was originally doing 3 episodes a week, but that cannot happen anymore, at least not right now. So I will catch you all then, and thank you for joining me, sir. Really appreciate it. All right, I will catch you on the flip-flop.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
See ya.
This is your one-stop shop. Subscribe, and remember, with a keen eye for details, one truth will always prevail.